So it's 5:11 p.m., rush hour traffic, downtown Chicago. You can't get any more complicated than this. Hey guys, how's it going? This is a video on Full Self-Driving Beta 11.4.6. This encompasses my experience using it in downtown Chicago. I have condensed everything down to make it as short as possible, highlighting the most important things, and this is the good and the bad. Hope you guys enjoy. The best part is I am sitting back enjoying this ride. It's doing everything all on its own. Now we got these people coming out in the intersection, changing lanes away from lane blockage. There is, okay, look at that, really smart. It sees that car parked there and it's trying to get around them already, even though we're not even close to them. Okay, good, going around. I'm not doing anything here. It's all the car. Great, it accelerated forward. Finally, good. I think it maybe recognized, hey, I'm in my element. I know where I'm going now. Let's do this. But overall, 11.4.6 behaves pretty much the same as the previous version for me. All right, look at this traffic. Let's see how well it merges for all this. This is not appropriate. It needs to get better at these situations. Let's take a look at the route here that I have planned. So first things first, we're going to be heading over to Union Station. From there, we're going to be heading all the way up to the Trump International Tower. And then we're going to stop by the Chicago Theater. And then we're going to swing by Millennium Park. A little bit of an interesting route to get over to there. And then finally, we're going to end up at the Sears Tower, which is now known as the Willis Tower. Beta is on. All right, here we go. Every time I do this down here, I get anxious. It's interesting because there's so many variables when you're in a busy city like Chicago. As I leave the city, I'm going to do a little bit of filming on the highway so you can see the differences. I've already observed some of them. Now you can see right here, it hasn't rerouted yet, so I don't know how it knows where to go. It is saying it's going left, and it executes. Really well done there. I had no issues with that. That was done really well. There were no traffic, nothing. Coming up here, we're going to be turning left. It's waiting for that car there. Did a nice job. Just a reminder, I am not doing anything. I'm not stepping on the accelerator. I'm not stepping on the brake. I'm required to touch the steering wheel every so often just to give it some feedback. Even though there's a camera right above the rear view mirror that's monitoring my eyes at all times, the system is still level 2 and it requires me to put a little bit of force on the steering wheel. So as you can see here, we're coming up to the Union Station and then from there proceeding forward. So once we pass over the highway, which we have, I think I can delete this first waypoint and it will continue on its way all the way over to, I think that's Wacker Drive right there. Oh no, it's Franklin. Okay, up Franklin Street. Sometimes it takes down Wacker Drive. It's slowing down here, so there's nobody behind me. Interesting that it slowed down there. Not sure if it saw something. I was a little bit distracted here, just trying to figure out where we're headed. But we're coming up to the Union Station pretty soon here. So the more that I drive down here, the less anxious that I get. You know, driving in a big city takes some getting used to. Now, every time I do this route, it's going to be different, the environment. So even though a lot of these destinations are the same that I've filmed in other videos, Beta treats it differently every single time, right? It depends on who's at the intersection, what vehicles are around you, if there's construction, road closed stuff, all that it takes into account as if it's seeing it for the first time. So right now, since we're coming up to this destination, I am going to remove it. Let's go in here while I can. It's easy when the car's not driving. And okay, we'll let it go through this intersection just a little bit first, and then I'll go ahead and remove it. So it's negotiating for the lane and almost getting honked at. I had to step on the accelerator there. That's the first intervention. I'm going to go ahead now and remove this from, oops, okay, hit on the X, there we go, and say done. And it's going to go forward. Okay, perfect. And in this case now it's taking Wacker Drive. So Wacker Drive is a little bit more interesting in my opinion than taking Jackson Boulevard. So it's indicating it needs to get into the left lane. You can see it says changing lanes to follow route. Looking to my left just to see this other car, if they are annoyed with how my car has been behaving. Sometimes it's awkward around other people. It's a big issue still with Beta. And a lot of people have stated that this beta software right now is unsafe. Well, I would beg to argue that it's too safe, to be honest with you, because it creates a lot of hesitation in these, especially in a city like this. It drives too slowly and it takes too much caution. Okay, coming up here, it got in the left turn lane. Really well done there. I like that. Okay, and Whacker Drive. The best part is I am sitting back enjoying this ride. It's doing everything all on its own. Here, look at that. It paused. It was waiting for that taxi. It knew that they were kind of coming out, and it knew that it needed to get over all the way to the left, because up here we're turning left. Well done. Beautifully executed there. Now this always is an interesting turn. I was honked at here in this same intersection before for when it went to turn left, it went over into the right a little bit first, and that created some confusion. You know, the person in the other lane thought I was turning into their lane. So I wait for it, and okay, so here we are. We're going too slow. Okay, there's a police vehicle, so good thing we're not out in the middle of the intersection. But normally, okay, now the car's creeping. Normally, as a human, I would be right out there in the middle, waiting for that path to clear. So I'm giving it some time. This might get me honked at, but normally, you know, as a human driver, you'd be right out there. In fact, so you see that van there? They're right out there already. They passed right over me. They didn't want to wait. But I'm doing the right thing. You know, you should be waiting back here. But at the risk of annoying somebody else. So this is where I'm going to step on it just a little bit to get out there. Now the person behind me is getting frustrated. They're going up to go around me. And now we're in the middle of the intersection blocking everything. So I'm going to step on it again, and we're going to get going through all the way. So that's one of those situations where it's too timid to get out there, and it remains an issue. So they definitely didn't fix that with 11.4.6. I'm really hoping that I can see some improvements in areas, and that was one of them I was hoping to see, was getting out into intersections earlier. I provided feedback to the beta team directly regarding that, because that remains a big topic for big cities. All right. Coming around the turn here. Good. All is good. Light turns green here. Oh, okay, I almost went right into that vehicle there. I'm going to report that. Ego almost collided with another vehicle on right turn. Okay, so I don't know if you saw that in the camera, but my car got really close to that car. Okay, so right up here you'll see, so we've passed over those bridges, and we didn't have any hang-ups because we weren't at the front of the line. I have a feeling if we're at the front of the line, okay, there we go. If I was at the front of the line, it may have tried to run the red light again. Hard to know. But this is where it would try to turn left before, and thankfully it didn't do it this time. Now, that's not to say that it's been fixed. It's just to say that it didn't do it this time. Every time it's different. So yes, if you end up getting full self-driving beta or you try it out, I would encourage you not to jump to conclusions if it improves itself. Like if you notice it screwed up in one area, and then the next day or the next time you update the software, it doesn't screw up in that same spot, like it's fixed, you think it's fixed, don't jump to the conclusion that, oh, it's fixed, because most likely it's not. It just happened to correct itself that one drive, and that'll happen again and again. And many of the YouTubers have made that mistake, and it drives me crazy is when someone writes a big title like v11.4.6 fixed everything, or whatever it addressed, it's most likely didn't get fixed. You can't just drive it once or twice and say it's fixed. I made those mistakes too. I got called out early on. It's one of those things that you just learn from after using it for so long, that it's very unpredictable, and it's hard to come to a conclusion on what's been fixed versus what's not been fixed. And that's partly due to Tesla. So Tesla, in their release notes, they don't tell you what bugs have been fixed. You just kind of have to figure them out on your own. They tell you what's been added. Okay, there we go, green arrow coming through here. This intersection has always been really good. So that guy was not supposed to go. My car went anyway. Now these people are coming. Thankfully my car, come on car, go, 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 come on, you got this. Okay, I had to step on the accelerator. It was slowing down for those people, and it should have gone. So they were all coming. I purposely was not looking at them because they were all looking at me saying, hey, what are you doing here? Your car is just like stopped completely. And I think it was hesitating for all those people, but they were coming at the side of my car. They weren't trying to go in front of the car. So it put my car in an unusual situation. So I think we have arrived. Yeah, let me, I'm going to pull this over. Yeah, we pretty much arrived. I'm going to go ahead and delete this. Edit trip, delete that out, say done. Keep on going here. Okay, great. So as you can see, we're going to go up and around. This is a very tricky area. This left turn onto Grand is another situation where it does not go into the intersection. It will remain very timid. It will stay there, wait for an opening, a wide opening, before it makes a decision to go. And you just can really annoy everybody behind you. So I am not going to hesitate to step on the accelerator. Here it's slowing down for something. I don't know. Oh, maybe it saw that crosswalk? I don't know. That was really weird. So my foot is hovering over the accelerator. I'm ready at a moment's notice to take over here, because you never know what will happen. Now somebody is behind me. They're a little ways behind me though, so I'm not that worried about them. That's one thing you always need to keep an eye on. Okay, here we are, red light. Okay, great. So it's going to stop here. This is one of the most fascinating areas for me to test. There's always a lot of people in this area, and this is a challenge. This is a common intersection in a busy city. You have to be able to master these types of intersections. And right now, it's just not to that level. So for anybody that's considering purchasing either full out or even doing a subscription to full self-driving beta, and you live in a big city, think twice. Because you can go back and watch all my videos. It makes a lot of mistakes still today. And I'm not seeing any major improvements here with this version yet. Okay, now it's green. Let's see what happens here. Okay, now I would be going in the middle of the intersection right now. This is the time to get out there. Now, at this point, the person behind me is probably wondering, what is this guy doing? So I need to be positioning myself. I'm stepping on the accelerator to go out. Now my car is like trying to figure out what to do. It's a green light. Okay, so every time I step on it, it's going to hesitate because there's cars there. Okay, so now this is where it just gets really awkward. I'm stepping on the accelerator again, and here it goes. Okay, so I did get through there, but it would have waited there all day long if I hadn't stepped on the accelerator, and that is a problem. Now there, it tried to get into the other lane. That doesn't make any sense because we're turning left here in State Street. No clue on that one. So this is another intersection where I've gotten stuck here, and it just hesitates a lot. Another very busy intersection, and I think it's one lane that you need to get into. Well, it's two, but there's a lot of times there's cars parked on the side, so it's basically down to one lane. And look at what I'm faced with. So it's 5:11 p.m., rush hour traffic, downtown Chicago. You can't get any more complicated than this. Take a look. We've got people left and right, cars everywhere. My car should have been going there, just missed the opportunity. So thankfully the person behind me is patient enough, but that's another example where I would have, if I was driving manually, pushed myself out into the middle of the intersection to turn left. So as soon as the light turns green, if my car doesn't go within 1 second, I am going to have to step on the accelerator. That will be another intervention. Okay, it's green. So I just stepped on the accelerator. Didn't even give it a second. I don't want to wait. There's one press. There's two presses. Not pressing again here. Okay, come on, Beta, you got this. There we go. Here we go. All right, ooh, a car coming out. Interesting. So the car just decided to go, even though it paused. Gave them the impression that I was going to wait. Thankfully, they didn't jump at the opportunity. Now my car slowed down there. I'm trying to figure out why. And it's putting on the right turn signal, which is not correct. We need to go straight here. Very, very strange that it's putting on the right turn signal. There it is again, the right turn signal. It looked like it was going to turn right at this intersection, which, okay, it's a little jog to the right. All right, slowing down here. I think it saw those traffic lights and thought it needed to yield to those. I've seen that happen before. And here, stopping for red. Okay, it turned green. Now we got these people coming out in the intersection, changing lanes away from lane blockage. There is, okay, look at that, really smart. It sees that car parked there, and it's trying to get around them already, even though we're not even close to them. Really smart. So the car behind me is wondering what's going on. Now we've got a motorcyclist. I'm letting it do it. Okay, come on, you got this. All right, there we go. Nice. Okay, we're coming up to this destination, so I'm going to go ahead and take it out. Edit trip, remove, done. Okay, perfect. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put in Buckingham Fountain while we're waiting here. I'm going to add that. And what I'm going to do is edit trip and delete Millennium Park. Be a little bit more interesting. So we'll go straight here. Okay, now it's waiting. We're stuck behind these cars, a little bit tight, but I think we can do it. Okay, good, going around. I'm not doing anything here. It's all the car. Great, it accelerated forward. Finally, good. I think it maybe recognized, hey, I'm in my element. I know where I'm going now. Let's do this. All right, flying down here. Wow, 34 miles an hour. Good, that's awesome. That's what I would have done. The lane was clear, everything. Okay, moved over nice and early. Like to see that. And we're going to go all the way up here and then turn left. And we're going to be kind of going over to the museum campus. We've got quite a bit of museums over here. So the museum campus is a little bit further south. We're going to be by Buckingham Fountain, which is near Grant Park. So we'll see how it handles this. And it looks like it's just going to do a U-turn there to come around based on the point that I input, which is perfect because then that brings us back around to head over to the Willis Tower. Although, I don't think it's going to be able to do that U-turn. We'll find out. I think even though I've been brought into the original group of testers, I think there's a lot of skepticism around my content because I say it like it is. I talk about the good and the bad. There's really no filter. I tend to try to focus on the positives more than I focus on the negatives. Some people would beg to differ, but I will say that I am not going to hide anything. If it makes a mistake, I'm going to point that out. And I point it out very objectively. I'm not introducing any extra bias, and I'm not really talking about my personal opinions that much. I'm trying to keep it very factual. So the point of my channel is to document the progress of full self-driving as it goes. And it's been a lot of fun doing that. Coming up here, got a lady coming out in the road. Thankfully, it didn't hesitate and stop for her. That would have interrupted traffic. Coming forward here. It's always interesting down here because the lines on the roads are not always painted very well. And then the roads themselves have all sorts of intricacies. And I think this is very similar to other busy cities. you just have a lot of sections that get closed off. Maybe you have a pothole here, a manhole cover that's out of place, garbage in the road, cars parked left and right. You have a bunch of different variables constantly in these types of environments. So it definitely makes for an interesting test when it comes to self-driving software. And this just goes to prove that I think Tesla and other companies are very far away from having a completely polished product. Now, you might argue that Waymo and Cruise have vehicles out there in busy cities already running around, but I will say that the fact of the matter is that they make mistakes as well. And people have been lobbying for a while to get those cars off of the roads, because when they make mistakes, they are also a nuisance in these types of environments. It's a very challenging thing to solve. Now, I think if you compare, I have never driven in a Waymo or a Cruise. I've seen a lot of videos. I think if you were to compare them to Tesla, I think Tesla has, weird that it slowed down there. I think Tesla has a leg up on the competition as far as being able to drop it anywhere and then have it just drive itself. But when it comes to, I would say like smoothness, like the smoothness factor, I think Waymo and Cruise are a bit ahead in that regard. And my understanding is that someone is monitoring the car anyway. Even though the car is all on its own, somebody can basically control it remotely. So is that really a self-driving car if you have someone behind the scenes checking it all the time? I don't know. Now look at this. It's a green arrow and it didn't go, so I'm having to step on it. Oh, great. So I'm constantly stepping on the accelerator. It, for some reason, didn't go there, and then I got stuck in the middle of the intersection. All right. So if you don't know Chicago, it's right on the lakeshore. We have Lake Michigan right here. A lot of beautiful fresh water. And as you get close to the lake, all of the scenery just drops off. It's just a clear sky. It's like basically looking at the ocean. So a lot of people don't realize Lake Michigan is massive and you can't see to the other side. So it feels like the ocean. When you look out, it's just never-ending amounts of water. So this is cool. We're going right up here. You're going to get a nice view of the lake. Okay, now let's see what's going to happen here. We're going to go around. I don't know if I'd necessarily call this a U-turn. Now it just changed the route. I think it's confusing itself. My hands are like hovering because I don't know what it's going to do. Okay, I don't know why it's showing that we're on the other side or kind of in the middle. I think the GPS is off just ever so slightly. Okay, now I'm ready to take over here because I'm not sure how it's going to handle this. Okay, it missed that one. I let it miss it. I'm stepping on the accelerator now. Okay, so it's going to have to reroute. That's fine. And it looks like, wow, it got in the right lane. That doesn't make any sense. I'm going to edit trip and get rid of that one. It's almost registering as if we never even went there. Jackson, is it going to be able to get over? No. Okay, this is where I got to be careful. See, look at this. It's another thing Beta tries to do. Shame on you, Beta. Tried to cut left due to GPS change at last minute. Not appropriate. So I don't know if you saw what happened there, but it had us routing down Jackson Drive because it changed the GPS location, or it changed the route at the last second. And it realized it missed it, but it was right there. So rather than waiting in line behind those people, it just tried to cut across. And you can't do that. I mean, come on. You got to recognize where you are in a moment and just not do that stupid stuff. That's very illegal, trying to cut in front of other cars like that. You just don't do that. It's like driving with someone that's going through driver's ed, and they're like, oh, I need to go left there. So I'm going to turn it back on. You can see as soon as you turn it on, those visualizations come in. We're heading over to the Willis Tower now. And I'm going to be turning left here on Monroe Street. Great. I'm going to go up Michigan Avenue 1 block. Okay, let's see how it handles this here. Slowing down. Not sure why this car isn't going forward more. I think they had their chance. I would have gone for sure. Oh, great. Now we have to wait. Okay, at this point, I'm really hoping that we get a green arrow. Okay, it is a green arrow. Good. It better go quick. Okay, good. Come on, you got it. You got this. Okay, great. I didn't have to intervene. Good, good, good. Made me a little bit anxious because we had someone right behind us. Look at this. Stop sign on the back of that truck. We did not stop. It slowed down there. That was good. But, I mean, we did not need to stop. So, technically, it did the right thing. But that was interesting because there was a stop sign. I'll have to go back and review that. Now it's missing the right turn there. Oof. Now it's realizing it and now trying to cut in. Looking behind me, making sure there's nobody that we're going to annoy. So this lane, let's just see. Okay, we can turn right. This lane allows you to turn right. And it looks like it's going to try to do it. I had to take over there because I didn't trust it enough. And I'll take over here. Okay, there it just immediately went over to the left. That was the right thing to do. So when you're making turns like that, sometimes it has a bad habit of cutting into the other lane in the middle of the turn. And I was very nervous with the other car right there on the right of me, on the right side. I was very nervous that it would have tried to cut into their lane. One big problem that Beta has today is sideswiping other vehicles, especially in busy environments like this. And I had it happen in another video down here. I'll try to find it and post a link up above. But man, when that happens, it scares you because you know the trajectory. And what's so surprising is that there's ultrasonics on the car in addition to the cameras, and it still creates those issues. So here we've got a bus honking. Come on, go, 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 Beta. Okay, now I'm not going to risk this. I'm stepping on the accelerator because that bus is extremely impatient and they're honking like crazy. Okay, we need to go straight here. Don't create this again. Come on, Beta. You got this. Why are you slowing down? Keep going. Keep going. Go, 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 go. All right, great. Yeah, I find myself talking to the software on a regular basis, saying, no, what are you doing? No, stop. No, no. You're constantly reacting. But to drive it in these environments, you really have to have a lot of courage. And it takes some getting used to. I will say that I would never, ever drive it in this environment if I didn't have the experience that I have up until now. There should be a training for anyone that's new to Beta because it is a learning experience to understand where and how it can go wrong. Like there, I think we just ran a red light. It's possible. We were right on the edge. I mean, a human driver would have done that anyway. So I'm not concerned. And I'd rather it go through than wait. So, I mean, that was right on the edge. We were just entering the intersection when it turned red. So coming up here, we'll be closing out our trip. We've got a block up here where we turn left, and then we'll be coming right up to Willis Tower. And I'm going to take it out on the highway, and we'll see how well it does merging. And then my battery will probably die as I'm driving back to the northwest suburbs. But overall, 11.4.6, ooh, wait a minute. It's creeping, and it's a red light. Okay, thankfully it's not. Well, wait a minute. What is it doing? Okay, now it's going. And then it saw that bicyclist. Nobody behind us, but why isn't it going? Come on, Beta, you got this. What are you waiting for? Come on. wow. Okay, it's taking its time. I don't know why it took so much time there. But overall, 11.4.6 behaves pretty much the same as the previous version for me. Okay, and I have to emphasize that. I'm not saying that it behaves the same for everybody. In fact, I'm seeing a lot of people saying that it's behaving much better and that they've noticed improvements. But based on my experience here today in the city of Chicago, there are no significant noticeable improvements. It still is making the same mistakes. It's attempting to sideswipe cars, obviously not on purpose, but it almost hits into other cars. The rerouting still has some awkwardness where it just tries to turn when it shouldn't turn. Intersections, it's not pulling into those proactively enough. It's still way too hesitant around pedestrians. Some of the lane selectioning is a little bit questionable. All of this stuff is the same as it was before for me. So overall, my conclusion is that it has not improved, or there haven't been any modifications to very busy city driving situations. So hopefully we see some more improvements over time. So we have to go up 2 blocks and turn left, and then that's going to take us right over onto the highway. We are a little bit past rush hour on Friday, so hopefully we don't run into too much traffic. But always on this particular stretch, it's always very crowded. It's bumper to bumper driving, so you can get an idea of how it responds in those types of environments. But I'm going to put it into drive here. All right, picking up some speed here. We're going through here really quickly. And it said limiting speed for road type. I liked that. Okay, now turning left here. Good. Left turn signal goes on. It's a one-way here. No turn on red. All right, it's green. Good that it's moving forward. Nobody behind us. It has a tendency to go wide to make these turns, so the steering wheel is going to the right there for a second. All right, good. One thing I noticed as I was coming down here while I was testing it on the highway, it seems to recognize the flow of traffic. There's a new message. It says matching speed for flow traffic or something like that. It's a message I had never seen before. I thought it was really, really nice. I had a situation where I was supposed to merge. It did not merge. It went straight to the end, and then the lines forced it to merge. It seems like 50-50, like sometimes it will merge correctly, other times it won't. I just stepped on the accelerator back there, by the way. That was another intervention. But the merge behavior, I've heard from a lot of people saying that it's been fixed. I have not witnessed that in the testing that I've been doing. It's gotten better, yes, but it's not fixed. And then the other thing that I've observed is getting out of passing lanes. In this version, in the limited testing I've done over the past 2-3 days, I have not seen it get out of the passing lane. It doesn't seem to do that. Now, I haven't driven it too much on the highways, just this morning, actually. But there were many times where I was stuck in the passing lane and it wasn't getting over. And I had to force it over. So I'm not going to say that that's fixed, although I haven't, like I said, I haven't tested it thoroughly, so I'm not going to jump to conclusions. Here we need to get all the way over. Thankfully it didn't sideswipe them. We need to get over more. Come on, Beta, you got this. Do it. Come on, no. Okay, I'm taking over. We needed to get over. I don't know why it wasn't getting over there. Failed to turn right to merge onto highway. All right, look at this traffic. Let's see how well it merges for all this. So usually in these types of situations where you're merging into like a wall of traffic, it becomes, for certain people, some people, they have no problem cutting people off. But for other people, this is a point of anxiety. It's like, who's going to let me in? when do I merge? It's that uncomfortable situation where you have to fit in with the traffic. Over time, I've gotten used to this where I don't care anymore, but when I was a new driver, this was a big point of anxiety for me. Who's going to let me in? How am I going to get in time? And I don't want to be rude, and all that goes through your mind. So if this type of software, if self-driving can solve that for people that have issues with these scenarios, that's a big deal. And I would say in this type of situation, generally speaking, it does a decent enough job. However, if you run out of lane and it's not trying to get over, that's when you usually have to take over. So that very well could be the situation here. I can't see too far ahead to see when this merge lane ends, but I have a feeling we're going to go all the way to the end of it, and then the line is going to push us in. And that's the situation where you have to be very careful of, because the line will literally push you into another car. Even if a vehicle is there, it just pushes you right in. And I've never ever let it go all the way. Now look at this, my car's not going. Come on, Beta, go, come on. Okay, I'm stepping on the accelerator. It wasn't going there. And no turn signal. Now look at this, the lane's running out, exactly what I thought. No turn signal going on. Come on, Beta, you can do this, come on. Okay, now look at this, see, now it's not merging. Car behind me went around. They're wondering what's going on. They gave me a really strange look. And my car still, there's no turn signal. So this is the same situation. Merging has not been solved. And the car behind me, they're like, what the heck, he's not taking the gap. They took advantage of it. So I'm stuck here and no turn signal. Okay, I hate to be like, I sound like a grumpy old man, like talking about what's happening here, but this is not appropriate. It needs to get better at these situations. So yes, to answer everybody's question about merging, no, you can't sit back and relax. You have to be ready to take over. I had to intervene there, and then I really got close to intervening a second time. Once you're on the highway, from here, it's pretty solid. Now I can more or less relax. And this is that learning experience that I wish there was some sort of training or something to walk you through how it behaves in certain environments. Unless you're a fanatic and you're looking at tons of videos to learn how it's going to operate, when you first get the software, there's no instruction guide, no manual, no nothing. It just tells you to be ready to take over, and that's it. Look at this merge situation. This lane is running out, and again, at no turn signal. Let's see what happens here. Okay, it is merging. The line's kind of pushing us, but again, no turn signal there. I would say that this is a good example of highway driving. Merge behavior is still awkward. You need to be ready to take over. It can easily sideswipe another car. Doesn't turn on its turn signal very readily. Let's talk about the things it does well. It keeps its position. It stays in its lane. As long as you don't have any of those complexities like construction or unclear lines, and you have like traffic that has kind of a pattern that you can logically understand, then I think it does decent. I think it does well, and it's always done well. There have never been any issues with that. The main issues with the current state of 11.4.6 is merging and getting out of passing lanes still. Again, passing lanes is something I'm going to have to do a lot more testing with to confirm. But like right now, I mean, we're dialed in to go 62. Let's just see as it speeds up if it ever gets out of this passing lane. Now, I do have it on the assertive setting. You can see here you have assertive, average, and chill. I do have it on the assertive, and especially in the city, I always put it in assertive. It makes no sense to do any other driving style. But in assertive, it should still get out of the passing lane. I've had more success in the past testing it in the average and also in the chill. it will get over more readily. But still, even in the average and chill, and again, this is talking on previous versions. I haven't tested with this one. Even on average and chill, it won't get out of the passing lane until several people start passing you. So it's still, for those several people that pass you, they're kind of annoyed. What, this guy's hogging the passing lane. What's this guy doing? And nobody wants that. You don't want to be that guy that's camping out in the passing lane, right? So that's one thing that, as long as you're aware, you can correct for it. Because even when it's driving itself, you can put on the turn signal. Oh, heaven forbid you use your left hand to turn on the turn signal. Not a big deal. These are minor things you got to bear in mind. So by pointing out these issues, it's not that they're like ruining the whole thing. I mean, Tesla's done an amazing job solving for the 95% that they've done already. It's just that extra 5% that's going to be really, really hard to master. In conclusion, 11.4.6 behaves very similarly to previous versions for me, with the exception of keeping speed with traffic, which was fascinating to see on my way down. It seems to kind of know the flow of traffic a little bit better on the highways. But everything else operates the same. I didn't notice any major improvements, no major setbacks. So hopefully we'll see with the introduction of version 12, which Elon Musk hinted at on Twitter, or now X. Hopefully version 12 brings a lot of new noticeable improvements, and that's the key word, noticeable. Because it's very easy to make a mistake and say that it improved when it really didn't. All right, I'm going to shut up now. Thanks so much, everybody, for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Have a great one.